Yo, what's up, guys? This is Jay again, making another video for my Air Force, recruitment and enlistment process. Uh, right now, I'd say enlistment process because I already signed my contract at MEPS technically for a 4 year, but right now I'm in the DEP program. I swore in on March 2nd, so I've been in the DEP for a little over a month, and there's a couple things I want to talk about. I probably won't go into too much specifics, but to start off, it was an interesting experience. Right after I swore in at MEPS and did all my medical stuff at MEPS, I met my recruiter the next day and made a list. And that list wasn't a good list. I don't know. I'm not gonna say I felt super rushed by him. I'm 26 years old, so there's kind of no excuse for me to not know what I'm doing. And I know that kind of sounds stupid. I feel like I was chasing this dream for so long to get to the point where I'm at right now. Getting to my weight, I lost a shit ton of weight to do this. I've always wanted to join the military. At first, it was the Army, but you know things change. So I ended up going active duty Air Force, and like I said, I signed a 4 year contract at MEPS, and that's not an official contract. That's just kind of like a precursor, so to say. Um, the final contract is when you sign your contract for the job, you get booked, you go to MEPS, and then you ship out. But I'm not at that point yet. But yeah. Anyways, I didn't do enough research on my own. I kind of rushed into that list that I made, and there was kind of discrepancies with my recruiter. And I kind of feel bad for it because, like I said, it was my responsibility to be on top of that kind of stuff. But luckily, my recruiter's pretty cool, and he worked with me. There's a few things that I guess communication wise could be better between me and him, but at the same time, I'd imagine he has obviously more recruits than just me. So I could see why things can get a little hectic sometimes, and I don't talk to him for a little bit. So the last update I got, we're still waiting on one of my jobs to be booked, and I can go over my list. But anyway, that was kind of like how it started out with, and I kind of got a lot of stress and anxiety from that because I was like, man, I don't want to get thrown into this because at first he was talking about an open general contract, and I did a little bit more research on that, and I didn't want to have a super negative mindset with that. But I saw that sometimes you could luck out and get some kind of medical job or just a job that was in your top 10 anyway, because majority of the jobs that I have on my list are all general aptitude area. So I didn't like it at first, but I kind of came to terms with it, and he made it seem like I got booked for that. And at first I was like, man, if there's any way we can try and wait out. But I came to terms, and I was like, all right, let's do it. And I was originally he gave me the date of April 26th, and then that didn't like pan out. I kind of didn't talk to him for a few days, and then he told me munitions got booked, which I completely regret putting munitions on there. I did a lot of research into that job, and it just doesn't align with what I want to do. And like I hate sounding like that because obviously the Air Force has needs, and they have the room to be picky because everyone wants to join the Air Force. So I understand that, but I thought that I was booked for open general. I came to terms with that, and then I was told, well, munitions got booked. So I didn't really like that, and I told him that, and it kind of went back and forth a little bit. But anyways, we switched my list around, and he's been working with me a lot. So like I said, the last update I got from him, just waiting on a job to be booked. And I'm gonna go over my job list right now. And like I said, if he offers me open general again, I will take it. There's a good chance that I'll get a good job out of that. And I'm not super closed minded to the fact of going in open general and finding out what I'm gonna be doing a few weeks into basic. But let me find what my list is right now. And all right, so I have it up right here. So first is fire protection. That's the main one I really want. Um, I never really wanted to be a firefighter when I grew up, but like this being my age with my circumstances, wife, two daughters, I'm thinking about what's going to be best for us, not just for me. So this job would set me up perfect after a 4 year contract with a civilian job as a firefighter with the department. So that one would just be great. And I've never been like super scared of dying in a fire. So like I've always been that type of person. Like obviously when there's danger, I usually run towards it and try and help people. and get people out of a situation, or respond to a situation. So that just aligns with my personality perfectly, I think. Second is air traffic control. If I get offered that, I'm not gonna lie, I'll be a little nervous. I feel like I'm stupid, and I feel like I don't want to end up in a circumstance where I end up getting, I fail tech school. That kind of gives me anxiety a little bit, just a little bit. But I'm confident in my ability because I came a long way. That would be a pretty cool job, and obviously, if he called me with that, I would go in a heartbeat. The third one on here, it says cyber operations, but this job actually was on the list, and I don't even know why it's on there because I'm not qualified for it. But it was for the Space Force, and there's obviously more steps to getting a Space Force job, and you have to go through a Space Force recruiter too. But it's cyber operations. I took that off when he told me that, and then I replaced that with emergency management. So number 3 is emergency management. I've read a lot of good things into that job, and that's one of those things where I try to put a lot of jobs that I'd be interested in that align with the civilian sector, or the private sector, so to say. So number 4 is airfield management. Again, did some research in that job. Seems like a job that I would excel in, a job that I'd definitely be interested in. Number 5 is vehicle operations, also known as ground transportation. A lot of people call it that. That job, again, aligns with the civilian sector, and I'd be able to work on getting my CDL after. And having that experience driving all sorts of vehicles and fleet and all that for the Air Force, it would just look really good, and I think it'd be a good job. I'd definitely be interested in that if he offered me that. 6 is personnel. It's one of those things where, yeah, would I take it? Yeah. Would I be happy about it? Probably not. But I wouldn't be negative about it. Personnel, obviously, pretty much HR, paperwork, sitting at a desk. But it would have more of a work-life balance, especially in the Air Force. I've done a lot of research, and that's kind of one of the jobs where you have bank hours and, spend a lot of time with family. And that's one of those things I take into consideration, being in my circumstance. And the next job is going to contradict that statement, and that's aircraft loadmaster apprentice. Dope job. Probably one of the most sought-after jobs that people want. But the caveat to that is being gone all the time. Most likely. I see mixed things on it, but I would say 80% of people say that you're going to be gone all the time. And I have a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old almost, and I don't know if I could do that. So I would take it if he offered it, obviously, but it'd be one of those things where just toughen it out for my contract, and especially if I'd be gone all the time. But yeah, the next one is the 8th choice, administration. Those kind of falls in line with personnel. So like I said, I wouldn't be super stoked about it, but I would take it. I had to list one medical job, so I put pharmacy. That'd be a pharmacy technician. Again, it's one of those things where I'd like to gain that experience. I'd be good on my resume. It'd be good to gain that experience, especially in the Air Force, and it would set me up for civilian sector jobs or even federal jobs after that. I've done a lot of research in jobs that you can get. You can get a job anywhere as a pharmacy technician, and I want to stay federal. Excuse me. But yeah, that'd be a great job. I'd take it in a heartbeat. And last choice is technically my last job choice is the General Aptitude Index. The code for that is 9TG43, and the number on that doesn't necessarily fall in line with what your ASVAB is, from what I've read. It's kind of I don't even know how to explain it, but that 43 doesn't mean that you had to get a 43 on your ASVAB in the General Aptitude Index. It doesn't mean that at all. But yeah. Anyways, that's kind of my process right now. Like I said, still waiting. My wife and I are just kind of getting a little antsy, especially my wife. We're planning a trip where she goes sees her parents, and she stays with her parents for a while. She's gonna go see one of her friends along the way, and then her dad's gonna help her with the road trip. It's a long road trip. I'm feeling for her because we did that road trip last year, and I didn't like it. But anyway, that's kind of where we're at. The next video is probably going to be when I get a job booked, and when that is, I don't know. It's kind of all up in the air right now. I'm hoping to get some more updates, obviously, this month, because last month, with jobs, it's kind of a month-by-month thing, from what I've seen. So anyway, if you guys are in this process, I wish you guys the best. I wish you guys good luck, and just try and keep those emotions and all those, because I'm not going to lie and say I haven't had second thoughts. you know, I've had a lot of second thoughts, especially just leaving my whole family, my whole safety net. It gives me anxiety, and it still does. And I still do have second thoughts. It's normal. But I think the main thing is just getting through those thoughts, because understanding that you're going to have those thoughts, use that as fuel to get through the process. Especially like when I'm at basic, man, I'm just going to use all those second thoughts that I had, and I'm going to see that finish line. That's going to be my goal, is to see that finish line in my head and say, you know, this is only temporary, and I'm going to get where I need to get for us, at least in my situation. So like I said, if you're in this process, if you're in the DEP program, be patient. That's kind of what I learned. And just hope for the best, be optimistic, and have a good mindset with this whole process. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Maybe it's a little insightful, and I will see you guys in the next video when we get a job booked. Peace out.